Um, Hello everyone. So I thought I'd just do a random stream right now, just to say hi, check in on everyone, see how you're all doing, and just have a nice chat with you all. So any questions, as per usual, just drop them in the comments, and I will hopefully answer some of your questions. I have a new backdrop. Usually I sit further that way so that I'm in front of my records, but I'm actually a lot comfier here sitting on my bed. Yeah, I don't have a back to lean on, but I think this backdrop looks nicer. So it's currently 8:04 in the UK, and I'm very tired. But yeah. When are you going to review Invisible Touch? As in the Genesis? Are you talking about Genesis? Hi all, good evening. I really wish I could have a better quality, but my webcam's not that great. You know, I'm not all high tech. A lot of you really want me to start up like a Patreon or a GoFundMe or something like that to donate to the channel, but I couldn't do that because I just feel bad. I'm getting money from YouTube, as you can probably tell. I'm open enough to say that now, but from it would just make me feel awful that I don't want people to feel obliged to donate to my channel to support. You know, you can support through just subscribing, through commenting, and that's more than enough for me. You know, I've got a job at the moment that I'm not actually earning anything from, and not attending at the moment because obviously quarantine, lockdown, meaning that all theme parks are shut, so I'm not actually able to work and therefore not earn money. We're not on the furlough scheme either, so I'm kind of stuck at the moment. All right, let's read some of these. Thoughts on later King Crimson? I've actually not listened to much later King Crimson. I'm still getting through my box sets over there. Hi Neve, hoping you're well. You need to listen to a band called Man Back Into the Future. This album is fantastic. I'll give it a listen. Hi from Italy. Hello. Just listening to Moon Madness by Camel. I listened to that for the first time, I think it was a couple of days ago, either yesterday or the day before. I loved it. Styx is a fantastic band. I've heard of them. I think I know one of their songs. I don't remember what it was called though. You listen to Kiss? I used to listen to them quite a lot, like a few years ago. I don't dislike them in any way now. I've just kind of been listening to different things, and yeah, I just haven't listened to them in a while. But I remember that they were one of my favorite bands at the time. Looking forward to your review on Porn Hearts. Yeah, I've not actually listened to that album in full, so it'd be a good one to talk about. Listen to the band Egg. I've been listening to them recently. I actually got in one of their albums recently. It was the self-titled from 1970. What's your favorite song that you would always come back to, meaning listening to it without getting bored? Probably Trilogy by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or the song The Tarkus. I love how this entire chat is just song recommendations. Yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly all right with song recommendations, album recommendations, artist recommendations, because I always like listening to new things. But you know, ask some questions. Like that previous question was a good one. How much do you know about Undweller's Dream? Well, the album you've mentioned there, Love and Poetry, I've actually got a first pressing of, and I don't think the person who sold it to me realized its value, because when I checked it up on Discogs, it went up, like most of them go up for 1,000 plus, and I got it for 15, as in 1.5. I've heard Script for a Jester's Tear. I've only been enjoying your videos as of late. How long have I been into prog rock? Good question. So back about 2 years ago, I started listening to Rush, but that wasn't my kind of, you know, that didn't kind of get me into it. I know I said that it did, but I've just been kind of thinking about it. I listened to Rush a lot, and Yes, and some occasional Genesis. And when I think about September time last year, I discovered Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and then I started listening to or re-listening to the stuff that I had previously liked, things like Yes and Genesis, and then from then there on, diving a bit deeper into the kind of prog world, listening to more King Crimson and stuff like that, which are all very good. So I'm just looking at my Love Beach isn't that bad, honestly. Agreed. I don't think it's. Play some background music. I don't want. Right. So here's the thing about people. A lot of people are asking that. I'd love to play background music, but I don't want to get copyright striked by YouTube because I don't want to take down my videos. Because that happened on Instagram and it was very frustrating. But I would really like to. But I don't know if YouTube have the same policies. I know they're quite strict on their copyright policies and playing, other people's music and videos and stuff. Do you play in a band? Everyone wants to know. I do play in a band, but we have not released anything. Do you think there's something bad about the state of rock when a young person? I listen to a lot of newer stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean I listen to a lot of newer prog, but I do listen to obviously listen to things like Dream Theater and Tool and all that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not new. That's all like 90s stuff, but they're still releasing music, I guess, and they are newer than something from the 70s. But I used to love the newer stuff. I was really big into Avenged Sevenfold at one point. I was really big into things like the Foo Fighters and all that a couple of years ago when I was more into that kind of stadium rock. Yeah, with the they I don't want my channel to get terminated because I love making content for you guys and I don't want to have to deal with YouTube taking down my stuff. But if I could, I would, I would play music in the background. And it is something I have tried, but Instagram took down my thing, my live stream. What band lineup would you love to see if it weren't for COVID? Have you any gigs postponed from last year? Yes, I was meant to see the Eagles last year with my parents in the summertime, and I was also meant to see Ozzy. And the thing is, that Ozzy show has been postponed 3 times. The first time, it was meant to be in like 2018, I think. Postponed it because of pneumonia, postponed it for another reason, and then postponed it again. And obviously COVID postponing again. So I'm yet to see Ozzy. But the Eagles was like the main one that we were going to that summer that we didn't get around to. But hopefully I'll be able to see Yes this summer because that's in May and I want to go to that. So hopefully we should have some more vaccinated people by then. What do you think of Marillion? I love Marillion. Do you also feel like prog is the best that music can get? I agree. I think it's very sophisticated art. Do you listen to Spotify? I do. I have a Spotify linked in my Instagram somewhere, but yeah, I do use Spotify. If I'm at home, I will use my record player, but that depends on what I'm doing. So say if I'm doing something that requires me to, like, let's say I'm cleaning my room or something, usually I'll use Spotify because I don't want to, you know, jolt the album while I'm doing something. But yeah, I will use Spotify if I'm going out or something like that. But I do have one of these now. I have an MP3 player because I want to use my phone less. So it was like less than £20, and I've got all my prog stuff on here. The unfortunate thing about this particular MP3 player is that it doesn't allow me to play songs over 15 minutes. And that's a bit of a problem because it means I have to go into Logic and use my great production skills and cutting skills to half up the songs and then download them so I could actually listen to them, which is a pain in the ass because things like Tarkas I've had to break up into different parts, and it just no. Also on here I downloaded the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and all the songs are in the wrong order. So it is tiring. I love Nick Drake. I know my dad bought some Nick Drake records recently, but never listened to it. Head out, see you in a bit. Bye. Spotify is a great way to discover music. I think so too, because you have the, your daily mixes, and then you also have, the prog playlists that have a load of stuff that is new to people. Any questions? I love that you guys are requesting me to listen to stuff, but I'd love for some questions as well. Do you like the prog folk group Griffin? I've never heard of them. Well, I've heard of them through the comment section, but not actually listened. Where do you buy your shirts? I buy them from multiple different places. This one is from a British website called Old School Hooligans, which is a great website for kind of lesser known prog band shirts. I buy shirts at concerts. I've used Impericon before, which is I think a German website actually, but they ship to the UK. When you post videos or top 10s, you should create playlists on Spotify. That's not a bad idea, actually. What do you think of the Canterbury prog scene? I love the Canterbury prog scene. I'm doing a video about that on Monday, so stay tuned. Hi Neve, do you own many prog DVDs? Unfortunately, I'm not much of a DVD person, but I have got my fair share of DVDs. I've got a Dream Theater one from, I think, the Images and Words tour back in the 90s. But my other DVDs, I have Black Sabbath's The End, and I think I have The Song Remains the Same by Led Zeppelin. But I'm yet to get more of those. Is early Queen prog? I think early Queen could be considered prog. I mean, Queen 2 is very proggy. Sia Yes is performing Relaya in its entirety. I know, I'm so excited for that. I just recently, well, not recently. By recently, I mean a couple of months ago, listened to that album for the first time. What do you think about modern pop music? No, I stay away from that usually because that's very close-minded of me, but as someone who used to be into that kind of stuff, I know how bad it is, and it's only just gotten worse. Thoughts on Muse? I love Muse actually. Ooh. You were exposed to music when you were very little. What are some? Funnily enough, I used to be very, very much into radio music. Like I was very much into top 40s things. I mean, I saw Taylor Swift live when I was about 12. So I wasn't always as knowledgeable on music as I am, but things I do remember are Pet Sounds, which is my dad's all-time favorite album, hearing that a lot, and a lot of Beach Boys stuff, and Radiohead. A lot of Radiohead I grew up on. Love the way you're doing your vids. Thank you. What's the first thing you're going to do after lockdown? I'm going to go to a record store, because that is my favorite thing to do. If I'm not doing anything, I will usually pop down to the record store. It's about 20 minutes from here. It's in Kingston. If you are familiar with the map of England, Kingston is in southwest of London, and I'm very close to that, to Kingston, so I will be going there definitely. How many other women do you know who are into prog? I know none. My mum doesn't like prog very much. The only Genesis she likes is from the 80s, so me and my dad kind of sit there like, oh, we really want to play some Peter Gabriel Genesis, but how did your dad introduce you to prog? Well, when I told him I listened to Rush, he gave me loads of recommendations of classic albums, because that was when I started getting into music properly as well. He told me about Fragile and Tarkus and all these kind of albums, and I guess just nattered on about them, and I just decided to listen to it. Women who like prog are a real minority. You are rare. I wonder what how I would have survived back if I was born around, so I could have been a teenager in the 70s. I wonder if how well I would have fit into then. Thoughts on Van Halen? I do love Van Halen. Do you like live releases or just studio? Both. I love live albums as much as studio albums. Sometimes live versions can sound better. Worst album you have in your collection? I might be offending some people here, so just warning. I have a Bon Jovi record that I have not touched in a few years that's still in my collection. Have you listened to much Stephen Wilson? Yeah, we do love our Porcupine Tree in this house. Well, when I say that, I mean me and my dad. Judas Priest or Iron Maiden? I'm a massive Iron Maiden fan. Saw them live in 2018, and they were my favourite band for a good 2 or 3 years before I got into prog, so they hold a very special place in my heart. I've got most of their albums on vinyl. I would love to see them again if they come back around, because they have a lot of prog influences in their music. How did your channel blow up? It was only created a month ago. So I made it many times. Lucky. Why no Kansas? We don't listen to a lot of Kansas in our home. I know a lot of you guys have been telling us to listen to Kansas, but I know my dad doesn't like them very much, and I've just never listened to them. Muse are very good live. Yeah, my boyfriend saw Muse live. Got tickets with one of his mates to see him, and I was quite sad. I wish I could have. Have you ever wondered how the British made such good music in the? Yeah, me and my dad talk about that a lot. Actually, we kind of just sit and think, how did this little island of a country, or of a United Kingdom, create these guitarists, these bands, these albums, whatever, and all of a sudden, I'm not gonna. I try and not let my kind of snobby attitude get the best of me, because I don't really like much modern pop music, because it's just very manufactured, in my opinion. It's very samey, very boring, but that's coming from a prog fan, so I can't really talk, because I know a lot of people will say, well, I prefer to listen to a 3.5 minute song about whatever rather than a 20-minute song about whatever. I'll be hanging out with friends, and I personally choose not to play my music because I know that someone will probably get hold of the music and skip it on. Metallica or Megadeth? Well, I've seen Metallica twice, and I have listened to more Metallica, so I might have to say Metallica. Will you check out my Discogs? Sure. If you have Instagram, then you can just message me on there. The level of creativity that was in the UK was amazing. It was, and then something happened. Not sure what, but it just got even more dumbed down. Yeah, I don't, again, not meaning to sound snobby, but the music that comes out of this country now is very easy, accessible. I like a good challenge. That's why I love prog so much. Is that I like something that challenges a listener rather than something that's catchy, you know? Def Leppard or U2? Def Leppard all the way. I'm not much into U2. The 80s happened. That's a good point, actually. My dad said this morning, actually, he remembers Henry Cow. I don't think he listened to them. Do you like beans on toast? That's a very random question, but I do. I do love beans on toast. Any more British stereotypes you want to throw at me? Have you heard any Steve Howe solo albums? I have not. What do you think of the grunge scene? I think it's alright. Never really got much into it though. Have you ever heard the Smiths or any post-punk band? I do like the Smiths. Do you like Marillion? Yes, I do. Kate Bush. I like Kate Bush, yes. What's some good prog albums to get into? As in, are you starting out listening to prog, or just some albums to recommend? Are you a fan of Supertramp? I've not listened to a Supertramp record before, but I know that we have one in the house downstairs, and I think it might be Crime of the Century, because my dad likes it. Do you like Wishbone Ash? I do. Favorite prog frontman? That's a very, very hard question. I don't know if I'll be able to answer it. But I'd probably say Peter Gabriel for sure. Greg Lake. Build up, yes. And I do like Geddy Lee. He's a very good frontman, and Ian Anderson as well from Jethro Tull. Frank Zappa. I think Marillion and Frank Zappa are two artists that people keep asking me if I listen to, and I did actually cover a Marillion album in my album covers video. I think I just need to make it a little bit clearer that I like both of those artists a hell of a lot. I like Genesis. That's as far as I go with prog. Oh, what Genesis was it? 70s or 80s? Selling England by the pound is a brilliant record. Have Genesis ELP ELP Genesis still influence today? I reckon if you went up to someone now and someone who was around the same age as me, maybe a tiny bit older or a tiny bit younger, and you said, "Oh, do you like Genesis, or do you know of Genesis? Do you know of Yes? Do you know of Emerson, Lake and Palmer?" Blah, blah, blah. I guarantee you they'll say no. That's where we're at in this country. You know, you can. I assumed, as in my first one of my first videos, that most people knew the song "Roundabout" by Yes, but a lot of people were saying that not many people outside this kind of music community know of that song, which is very surprising because I thought more people knew about it. It's a shame. What brand of ESG guitar? It's a Gibson. Thoughts on Mr. Bean? I grew up on watching Mr. Bean, actually. Pet Sounds is difficult. I think Pet Sounds is a masterpiece. What kind of studio work would you want to do? Well, I'd love to do some engineering. You know, I'd love to be able to set up the actual equipment because I was taught how to do that back in college, you know. And obviously setting up mics and setting up, you know, equipment and etc. Doing all the plugins and patch bays and all that kind of stuff. That's stuff that does interest me. Although I am pretty good at mixing, so maybe sitting in the recording chair would be quite fun. Any thought on King Crimson after the 70s? I've not listened to much. I think young people should start doing some prog again, but I'm not for on the guitar. I just think that if you put someone in front of, put a track of a prog track in front of someone in this country now who's about my age, let's say, who doesn't know anything about prog or doesn't listen to this kind of side of music, it won't work. You know, you'll just get made fun of. Hi there. Do you have a football team? I stay out of sports. It might be a very kind of weird thing to say because I know us British people love our sports, but I'm not a sports person whatsoever. Ever listen to The Nice? You know what I have to show you is I got this recently from a viewer who sent me all these lovely ELP posters. There we go. I got a nice record recently. Does the band you play in originals or covers or both? Well, we're trying to create some of our own stuff, but we mainly do covers. I mean, if you type in Silly Lobster on YouTube, you'll find us. Leave a nice thing on it. Hello, see. Do you listen to extreme stuff? Not really anymore. I used to. Favorite prog epics. I was going to do a video about that, actually, of my favorite prog epics, so I might just leave that to the video. King Crimson or ELP? I've listened to more ELP, to be honest. What's your favorite dream pop album? I mean, I listened to Beach House, if that counts. What prog albums? Oh yeah, let me get back to that. So if you want to get into prog, I say listen to I'd say the first ELP record, Close to the Edge. Well, that might be quite extensive, but it's still great, and you should still listen to it. In the Court of the Crimson King, 2112, Oh, actually, no. I'd say Moving Pictures over 2112 because even though it's a bit more kind of 80s pop esque, it is a gateway into prog. And I'd say probably Nursery Crime by Genesis. Do you want to get into prog? Tarkus will do. Tarkus was actually the first ELP album I ever listened to, back probably about a year ago, before I realized how good that they were. I mean, it's funny because when I listened to ELP for the first time, which was listening to Tarkus, I didn't know Lucky Man. I'd never heard of this group before. I just listened to the album. I didn't listen to anything else for about a year and like a half a year or something. And then I rediscovered them recently. Foxtrot Lamb Lies Down. Yes, album Fragile. There's just some good records there. Frank Zappa. I love Frank Zappa, yeah. Opinion on Neil Peart or John Bonham, who's better? I say Neil Peart, although I do love John Bonham's sound. I'm gonna have to say Neil Peart because better drummer, more interesting drummer. Hey Neve, have you listened to Devin Townsend? Heard of him? But no. Are you into glam? Oh god, I used to be. I used to really love glam metal and hair metal and stuff like that, and I'm cringing at the remembrance of that. I mean, things like Motley Crue and Poison were all things that I was really into at one point in my life, and I gave all those albums away because I discovered prog. Rat, yeah, I listened to Rat as well. Glam is Roxy Music. Oh, well, if you're talking about that kind of stuff, then I do love David Bowie and Roxy Music. How much does prog play in your sense of identity? Well, I don't define myself by my music. I do try not to, at least. Neve the glam metal nerd. Don't make me throw up. Don't laugh, but Early Journey are amazing. I've not listened to any early Journey. I only know a couple of their songs from the 80s. T-Rex are good. Yeah, because a lot of people that define glam will be things like they categorize glam metal and hair metal under the same umbrella, so I've just kind of been used to that. What about making live videos for unknown bands? I would do that, but I don't want to get copyright banned and my channel getting deleted, so the band Sweet Early Glam. I love The Who. Black Sabbath, Dio or Ozzy? Ozzy. Because I have listened to more Ozzy and I prefer it. However, that being said, I love Dio era Ozzy. Dio era Sabbath. But I do prefer Ozzy Sabbath. Have you listened to any symphonic metal? I haven't, no. Are you ever going to feature your boyfriend? I would love to, but with the current situation in the UK, we can't let anyone into the house that's not me, my mum, and my dad, essentially. Otherwise we'd be breaking the rules. So I was thinking of doing a Zoom call with him, but I think it would be better if he was in person because I prefer talking face to face with people in person rather than over the phone. But I would really love to. There are no rules in the US. So I'll tell you why that is. It's because this country not only has given us some pretty shit music, but has also given us a very shit government who've decided to say things like, don't go outside, but you can go outside. Don't meet anyone, but you can meet people. Don't go to work. If you have to go, go, but don't go to work. You know, it's so stupid. Nothing is clear in this country, and we're in a full lockdown at the moment, and people are still messing around. And you know, I think the worst thing is that you have these people who are these quote unquote social media influencers who are taking trips to Dubai or taking trips abroad when travel is only essential for essential work. And they're going to Dubai. They're having a grand old time taking the virus that we have here, the new strain that we have created because it's that bad, and pushed it right into another country. And not only that, is that this is, I'm gonna get a little bit, very preachy. My aunt just died. She died a couple of days ago, and our family live in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland. We cannot go over there. We couldn't go to her funeral because of the travel ban. It's not essential, technically, but we couldn't go over. And my mum was distraught. She was in tears. She was heartbroken to know that she couldn't go over to say goodbye to her brother's wife. And yet these people, these social media influencers, are traveling halfway across the world to Dubai when we can't go over to a funeral. I think that really says a lot about this current state, that we can't even say goodbye to someone who played a big part in our family, but these people can they have to go away to Dubai on a quote unquote work trip. It really breaks me to see my mum that upset. And I really I hate seeing my family so distressed. It's one of the worst things, and I don't get how people could be so selfish. There's NHS workers who are away from their families, working round the clock, trying to save our lives, essentially, trying to save lives. And you've got people fucking around going to Dubai. I just can't. And she wasn't that old either. She was only in her early 60s, and she had a lot of health problems. And when I found out, I was distraught. We all loved her, really. I think that situation, my mum should have been able to go. She should have been able to say goodbye to someone who she'd known since she was a teenager. Someone who was brought into her life very early on and all of a sudden is gone from. And it wasn't COVID. I think someone asked, was it from COVID? Yeah, it wasn't from COVID. It was, they suspect it's a heart attack. And that's probably why in my recent videos I haven't been as kind of chirpy as usual. But we've been dealing with a lot in the family lately, and yeah, let's get back on track before I start. Thank you all for the condolences. You're all very, very lovely people. Lockdown is worse than COVID. Again, it's really, my condolences is going out to any of you guys who've lost anyone, whether that be in the recent times from COVID or anything. By the way, thank you all for the super chats. Any interest in fusion? Is that bad? Music helps a lot during the. Yeah, we kind of sat down for a while and listened to a lot of music. Me and my mum. It's her favorite. One of her favorite bands is Queen, so we kind of just sat down. Yeah, my name is spelled the Irish way. It's N-I-A. It's the Irish say Niamh to actually get that A sound out, but over here in England, people say Neve. Thanks for the donations of that means a lot. What's your opinion on Rory Gallagher? I do love Rory Gallagher's music. Oh, great name, thank you. I think that it was my mum's choice. She's the Irish one in the family. Unfair World. Thank you very much for the cool channel. Thank you. What was your thoughts when you realised all your followers were middle-aged dudes? If I'm completely honest, it's not a shocker because I'm talking about something. Well, my channel is based on something that the kind of younger people now are not interested in whatsoever. So it's great to talk to people who were around and listened to all these bands, saw all these bands in their prime. I think it's great. I'm happy with talking to anyone. Nothing phases me. People can be cleared to travel. If you're in the UK, unfortunately, you can't. I mean, it's not good enough reason to go overseas, apparently, because it's not essential work. I'm 14 and I love prog. I wish I was into prog when I was 14. Yeah, when I was 14, I was into like Black Veil Brides and Bring Me the Horizon and stuff like that. So, not quite into prog. Tool is a great band that my kids turned me on to. I actually turned my dad on to Tool as well and Dream Theater because we saw Dream Theater live, and I think the live experience for him really kind of ignited his love for prog metal from then, that point onwards. Just speaking medically. What's your opinion on Tormentor? I think it's okay. I've got the vinyl of it now, actually. But a lot of people want me to do a similar video about that to my Love Beach one. Can you get into the UK from coming abroad? I think that the UK shut off all their borders because it's really, really bad. Even if you wanted to travel in, you would not want to come here. We have such a bad case of coronavirus over here, and that's why we're all stuck inside again. When a lot of you guys are probably able to go to the record stores or able to see your friends and family again. I'm stuck inside, and we're only allowed to, if we want to see people, we can only see one person, and it cannot be outside our local area. Luckily, I've got a friend who's in my local area, so that's quite good. But my boyfriend lives quite far from here, and well, not far, but further outside my area. So that is a bit sad. How did you learn so much about prog? Research. I just watched a load of documentaries, and I did a project in my college project was about prog, actually. So I researched a shit ton about prog and the beginnings of it, and yeah, I know a lot, and I'm yet to learn more. from you guys? Yeah, we love Muse. Oh, my legs are starting to hurt. I hope Keith Emerson is watching your channel. He's up there. Already looking, but... Do you like Bill Bailey? He was on Strictly Come Dancing this year, actually. If you're familiar with that show, it's a British television show. It's pretty bad, but it's celebrities dancing with professional dancers. It's like a competition thing. And he was on it this year. No, not this year. Last year. And he won. So I remember he danced to Enter Sandman by Metallica, and I know he's a big Prog fan as well. So I do know of him. How is coronavirus so bad if your ethnicity is different than the ones that are being held up as most affected? Yeah, we don't do political. We just completely drop our political opinions on this channel because I don't like getting into politics, and I don't like arguing with people about politics. So, did you start your collection on CDs or always vinyl? Started on CDs. Have you checked out the Nice Keith Emerson's former band? Yeah, I talked about them earlier. I got a record of theirs in recently. Opinions on this new Steven Wilson album? It's different. it's different. Hi Neve, it's cool to see a live session. Thank you. American politics don't matter in the UK. Well, they do affect. They do kind of affect us in a way because we have a prime minister who tries to basically follow what Donald Trump was doing, but now that Donald Trump's no longer president, we're a little bit. I don't know what we're gonna do really. I'm not gonna get into because I don't know. I don't really like talking about politics. Favorite Stones album? I don't have one. I don't listen to much Rolling Stones, but maybe I'll give them a listen. I like your channel. Thank you. Any Genesis Landmines Down on Broadway people? Yeah. Yes. I love Landmines Down. Coffee or tea? Here comes the British stereotype. I prefer tea. Ugh. Why are British clocks so loud? That's a good question. That is a very loud clock. And surprisingly, I'm able to sleep through it every night. Always stay away from politics and religion. Yeah. Just finished recording a podcast episode with co-host Movers. We reviewed ELP's Talkers. I gave your channel a shout out. Thank you very much. I'll check it out. Is it on your channel? Earl Grey. I'm more of a herbal tea person. I'm very much a hippie-esque kind of mindset because I just prefer the calming sensation of herbal tea. Tea with milk. I'm a vegan, so I don't drink milk. So that's why I usually have herbal tea, but if I have to have regular tea, I use oat milk. But I do love coffee as well. Yeah, I love my oat milk latte. I saw you at 5 o'clock in the crowd at Isle of Wight 1970. I wish I could have been there. I do listen to other genres than prog. Cool, I'm a vegan too. Woohoo! But talking about, I do listen to other genres. I think a lot of people tend to forget that now because I listen to so much prog. I listen to metal, I listen to jazz, I listen to all sorts. The only thing I don't have, I don't like is country because I did actually, Try it. Hippiest. I wear bell bottoms a lot. I have 2 pairs. I got a pair for my birthday a few weeks ago. And I also have a lovely, lovely pair of vegan leather boots that I got there, like proper 70s platform boots that I love wearing. Do you have a boyfriend? I do, yes. I think someone just asked, yeah, how long have you been a vegan? I've been a vegan since September of last year. I was vegetarian. So I decided to go vegetarian at the beginning of 2020. But before then, I was still eating meat. Decided to go vegetarian because I'm not going to get into it. Mainly, you know, very vegan views, basically. And then I went vegan. And the reason I went vegan in September was because I thought that I had contracted a dairy allergy. That was one of my main reasons at the time. And obviously, I did my research into the dairy industries and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into it. But I thought that I was allergic to it. So I kind of just cut out dairy completely to avoid, whatever allergy I thought I had, because I was contracting loads of hives at the time. If you know what hives are, that's a horrible, horrible skin rash that itches a lot. And I've still got them, actually. I've got a bit of a hives problem. It's not an allergy thing. I think it's called urticaria or something like that, but I take medication for that. But yeah. Is anyone else vegan or vegetarian? Because I'd love to hear it. Bangers and mash. Smart to become a vegan. Thank you. My boyfriend actually turned me on to veganism. Actually kind of told me about it, because he's been vegan for like 4 years or something like that. And yeah, kind of explained the industry to me, and I was so shocked by it that I decided to cut out meat completely. And as I told you guys, I did work in a theme park. I worked at a place, this is when I got that job, I was about a month into my veganism. I was put in kitchen, and that was like my job for a couple of a couple of days. I was kitchen duty. I had to put the burgers together. I'm just going to make this very clear. If you eat meat, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not a preachy vegan in any sort of way. I don't believe in forcing people to do. I don't believe in extremism. I don't believe in any of that. I think that if people want to be vegan, they can be vegan. If they want to eat meat, they can eat meat. I'm not going to force people to do anything or force my beliefs on people, because I don't like that. I don't like doing that, Don't worry, guys. I'm not in any sort of way extreme vegan, and I didn't really want to kind of talk about that on my channel because I was worried about people thinking that the vegan stereotype is all of us going out and screaming at people to become vegan. But I don't believe in that. I believe in people doing whatever they want. People to do. What is the best album to make love to? I'm gonna say Love Beach by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, 1978. I did not know that Steve Howe was a vegan. That's awesome. By any chance do you like Dylan or Springsteen? I like Bob Dylan, yeah. As long as I'm not eating vinyl. Utakari would be a great name for a prog band. Wow, I didn't realize so many of you were vegetarian, vegan, or pescatarians. Do you like hip hop? Never really been big into hip hop. I think I read somewhere that Carl Palmer was vegan. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you watch Robert Fripp and Toya Wilcox's channel? I do. I find it so funny. I laugh so much. This is the same guy who made people cry by kicking them out of their band, and he's sitting there in a fucking tutu. I think Brian May does a lot of animal rights activism. Trump is not a vegan, I guarantee you that. Do you like post rock? Not really listen to much of it. I think many of us eat plastic and we don't know. I mean, a lot of processed food contains plastic. I used to eat these things called cheese strings. If you're in the UK or maybe in America, you have them as well. They're like little long pieces of string. This was when I was stringy cheese. Like, this was when I was very, very little, and they were so shiny that I think that they had plastic in them. I think that most of Yes were vegetarians or vegans, apart from Rick Wakeman. I think that's. I could be wrong about that, because I remember reading an article that he wasn't in any sort of way, you know, vegetarian or vegan. You don't listen to punk? I do listen to punk. Not much of it. I did have a phase of listening to a lot of it. That doesn't mean I stopped listening to it, but I kind of had a period of time where I listened to it's like now I have like my exclusively prog, you know, and not listening to much else, which is yeah. But yeah, Marillion. I love Marillion, yeah. Carl Palmer, Bill Bruford, or Phil Collins? Oh, you're asking me to choose between three great drummers. That's very difficult. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop the vegetarian vegan chat. I don't want to piss off you guys who are not. What are your thoughts on Hawkwind? I haven't listened to much. I'm 13. I love prog rock and metal in general. That's cool. I was not really into that. Into rock and metal when I was 13. Can you say armadillo, please? Armadillo. Radiohead. I grew up on Radiohead. Music is not great today. Depends what you define under the music umbrella, because I think that there are great new bands, but they're not necessarily British bands. Right, I've got to put this on charge, so bear with me. There we go. Oh. Let's carry on. Yeah. Have you heard of Greta Van Fleet? I saw Greta Van Fleet live when they were relatively small over here in the UK, and I think they sound a little bit too much like Led Zeppelin for my taste. Do you go to festivals? Not really. I'm not really much of a festivals person. Phil Collins might have a comparable chest hair status to Carl Palmer. Not sure about Bill Bruford. Soft Machine, are you into any Canterbury scene? Yes, I am. I'm making a video on that on Monday. Love your dad. Does your mum like prog? Sadly, no. My mother is not into prog, unlike me and my dad. Balls on Les Claypool. Love it. Love him. How many albums have you got? In our total collection, I think about 750. What music does your boyfriend listen to? He listens to all sorts, actually. Mainly, his favourite bands are Pink Floyd, Queen, and the Beatles. But I've kind of got him into prog a bit more. Like, because when I first met him, like a couple of years ago, you know, he has really long hair, and he was wearing, I think, a Queen or a Pink Floyd shirt, and I was very much drawn to that because I was like, oh, I'm worried that when I go to this college, I'm not going to meet anyone who likes the same music as me, blah blah blah. Sees this person with long hair, you know, kind of scruffy look, but in the good way, and band shirt, jeans. That is the person I want to be with. Ginger beer. I'm not a ginger beer fan, unfortunately. What was the last live show you saw? Dream Theater, actually. Dream Theater was the last concert I saw before the lockdown in the UK. I think that they played at what was called the Hammersmith Odeon at one point in time, but it's called the Eventim Apollo now. If you could play one instrument very well, what would it be? Bass, because that is my current instrument. Not a big Burzum fan. Never been a black metal fan at all. Because I like hearing bass in my music. I don't like tinny music, and that's gonna sound very. I don't like the production quality on black metal, unfortunately. Is it a good arena? It's not really an arena. It's more of just like a venue-ish. It's a stage, and yeah, no, not really sure how to explain them. Do you enjoy Oasis by any chance? Unfortunately, not into Britpop that much. If I had to pick a favorite Britpop band, it would probably be Blur because they're more original. Why are there more women bass players than guitar? I tried playing guitar when I first started playing stringed instruments, and then I realized I was better at playing bass guitar. Do you buy your prog t-shirts on the internet? I do. I use a website called Old School Hooligans, which is a UK-based website. Favorite prog vocalist? Probably John Anderson. And Greg Lake. Don't you get tired of being asked about the same bands over and over again? It makes me sad sometimes to, it doesn't annoy me, but it makes me go, when people keep asking if I listen to things like Frank Zappa and Marillion, because they're bands that I have mentioned in my collection, but these will be people who are commenting on my dad's collection video, and I mention every video, well, if it's not in this video, it will be in that one, and it's hard to kind of, whatever, I don't know. Show us your t-shirt collection. I could try and do that. Bass guitar will make you better at playing guitar. I've noticed that, actually, yeah. What album would you recommend first to try and get someone into prog? I'd probably say Fragile by Yes, or the first Emerson, Lake and Palmer album. What Pink Floyd album is a favourite for you? My favourite is Animals. Have you made a video about your gear? I have. It's on my channel somewhere. I think it was like last week or the week before I released it. Forgot Toll. Great band. Saw Toll with the Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Whew, what a lineup. That sounds great. Who are your bass influences? I'd say Geddy Lee and Chris Squire are probably my two main influences in playing bass, although Cliff Burton is a close third. The first Metallica bassist. Any preferences on first pressings or versus the reissues? Honestly, if it sounds good, I don't really mind. If it's something I just want to play, I'm not first. I get vinyl not as a collection thing, as a way to listen to music rather than have like a really expensive album and not want to play it whatsoever. Do you listen to Jimi Hendrix? I do. Any American prog other than Tool, Dream Theater? Spinal Tap, what a great film. I remember the first time I saw that, I think I nearly wet myself laughing. I love Thin Lizzy, yeah. Asia, I know like a few Asia songs. Never listened to an album though. Right, so I'm probably going to go now because it's dinner time and I'm very hungry. So, best wishes to all of you. Thank you all for joining. We have 170 viewers at the moment, so hello to all of you out there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Tomorrow's video will be a Fridays with Dad. So, Saturdays with Dad, and it'll be about my dad's favorite 70s band or albums. So, see you all soon. I'm going to wear my Spinal Tap shirt in my next video. If I can find it, I will wear my Spinal Tap shirt tomorrow. See you all later. Bone apple teeth. Bye-bye.